Welcome back. I've been away from YouTube for a while, about a year. My job has sent me away and there's nothing I can do about that, but I'm back. I have recently picked up this Nissan 4-stroke, 15 horsepower. I have never worked on a Nissan Outboard before, so this will be fun. From what I got from the seller, should just need some carburetor work and the fuel connector needs to be replaced, and it came with a new fuel connector which is buried in there somewhere. So looking at it, it's dirty, but it's not messed up anywhere as far as I can tell. It doesn't look like it's been corroded from salt water, which is always a good thing. Other than that, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to figure it out. Ooh. Feels like it's got compression. Flywheel does spin. That's a good sign. I have it hooked up to power here, and I have not tried to crank it, so I'll tell you what, before I do that, I don't know how long it was sitting, so before I do that, I'm going to get these spark plugs out, and we'll take a look inside of the cylinder. All right, so this one is the top, this one's the bottom. Ooh, there is not much clearance around the spark plug here. All right, so this is a 5/8. It does not fit. It's too small for that spark plug. The next size I have is 3/4, which is too big for the opening for the spark plugs. The spark plug sockets that I have don't fit inside of the opening for the spark plugs on this motor. I looked up the NGK DC PRE6E, the spark plug that it says you're supposed to use on this, and it says it's a 5/8 hex, which does not fit. It's too small for these. So I realized this does not have those spark plugs in it. These are Autolites, I think 4614 or 6414. Those are a 11/16 hex. The problem is my deep socket 11/16 does not fit inside of that opening. It's too wide. So I need a thin wall socket, which I looked up online. Some of those are kind of pricey, and some of them won't come here for a few days, even if I order on Amazon. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind down. I have an extra deep socket. I'm going to grind it down and see if I can get it to clear. All right, so I think I got it. It'll fit. This is an 11/16 and it's still tight, but it gets in there. So I think we can get it out. I now have a custom 15 horsepower Nissan spark plug remover. Just what I always wanted. This thing is dark. And crusty. Yeah, it looks like oil on there. Might be oil in those cylinders. I'm gonna try to pull on the cord and turn this thing over. See if it's a little bit easier now. Yeah, much easier to pull over. Let's give it a compression test while we have spark plugs out. All right, so I'm kind of having the same problem even with the spark plug tester. But I don't know what the heck is going on with this motor. I guess I'm really not used to working on these things. It doesn't go. I couldn't get it to fit all the way into where the O-ring was seating. I'm still gonna give it a try. We'll see what happens. Disconnect the lanyard. See if we got anything. So I've got 60. Again, I don't know if that's I don't know if that's accurate or not. Like I said, it's not seated all the way in there. All right, so here's what I came up with. I basically just stacked 2 extra O-rings on here. Since it'll go in most of the way, but not quite all the way, so hopefully that'll be enough to seal her up a little bit. And hopefully we can get a higher number than 60. Because I don't like that. I also forgot this thing has electric start. So, see what we get. So about a little over 130. That's pretty good. Much better than 60. I did not like seeing that. All right, so 130. See if we got the same on the bottom. Uh, 135. Sweet. So I'm good with that. 130, 131, 135 is pretty good. I did mention already, I actually already checked the oil on this thing to make sure there is some in there. All right, so this is after cleaning them up a little bit, look much better. Throw these in and we'll check and see if we have spark. All right, got the plugs in, hooked up to ground. I threw the lanyard back in and let's see what we got. Yep, we got spark. So we got compression, we got spark. We definitely don't have fuel because there's no fuel hooked up to it. Do I go ahead and pull the carburetor now, clean it out? Or do I, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the carburetor. See if we get anything out of here. Nope. All right, look this over for a second. I think the best way to attack it is to take the pull start and cover off of that first. I knew I should have did something with with those bolts, but I tried to leave it there anyway, and now I drop it. I feel like there's got to be an easy way to get to this thing, and I just don't know what it is. Got it. All right, let's take the bowl off. See what's inside. So it's definitely a little bit crusty on the inside. Got some gunk. So definitely it's a good thing we are opening this up. Needle and the float are not stuck. The needle looks good. I don't see any holes in the float. Just made my first mistake, first big mistake. So I will have to order that. You gotta be careful with those brass parts, they are delicate. I am not a delicate person. So what I was trying to do was put the drain screw back in so that I could fill this thing up with some carb cleaner and let that nastiness soak. But I screwed that up. I have to order a new drain screw, so progress on the carburetor is halted until that comes in. I'll also order a new gasket for the bowl. In the meantime, I'll check the lower unit oil for any evidence of leaking, just in case I need to add that to the parts list. And she's loose. That works 100% of the time, every time. Except when it doesn't. That looks pretty good. There's no water in there. I'll go ahead and put that back in there. Nice. So I'll change that later on. We're several days in the future now. I just got some parts in. Mainly this drain screw. I did order a gasket for the bowl, but it didn't come in time, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the carburetor back together for now. And when that gasket comes in, I can replace it later. Try not to repeat history. I just want to turn it so much tighter, but I'm gonna stop there. All right, that's back together. I'll get it on the motor. This fuel line is a little bit split. I'm gonna see if I have something I can replace that with. Found some fuel line that I can replace this with. Hopefully, it's the stuff I have is a 1/4 inch inner diameter, and it's much thicker, the outer diameter for sure, but hopefully the inner diameter will work. Bigger problem, I forgot to route that in the right spot. So I have to take the carb back off, move it up here on the top so I can hook it back up here. Now this here, I have a new filter that came with that drain screw at the same time. So I'm going to replace this filter, run a line from here through here. It comes up front. Then the fuel connector will come out right around there where that hole is. Found a bolt that fits in here. I don't have the factory bolt that secures this thing. All right, well, I think we just rolled through all that. That's everything that I think we needed to do before we test fire this thing. All right, here goes the first start. Let's see what happens. This is always my favorite part of working on these things. Can't ask for any more than that, so I started right up. Sounds great too. I didn't see any water peeing, so I'm gonna go grab something to poke that real quick with. See if we can get any water out of the telltale. off and see if it starts pumping then. Alright, slide them down a little bit, so it should have warmed up. Man, you know, I really do love 2-strokes, but these 4-strokes, they run so smooth. I'm happy this thing started right up. We need to probably look into the water pump. I ordered one and I've actually got one. So now that we got it running, and it shifts good also. I checked forward and reverse. Just want to take it back inside, replace the water pump. And I think that's it. Replace the water pump. I'll replace the lower unit oil. I'll replace the engine oil also. And then I think she's good to go. Just wash it up. And that's a done deal. Back inside, gonna work on getting this lower unit off. I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed in the design on this Nissan. So the shaft for the shift is divided here, and that collar is secured to the shaft using a roll pin, and nobody wants to deal with that. So, all right, I gotta hope I have the right size punch, and I'll get that out of there. Sweet. So we should be good to take this lower unit off now. I left one of the nuts on just so it didn't fall out on us. Sweet. It's really tight. These two are easy. This last one, or the first one that I did, that one is suspect. You don't want to break that bolt. Oh yeah, I can see right away this old impeller was no good. You can see all the cracks running through these fins. Let's check it with our replacement, make sure it's the right one. Yep, looks to be the right size. A little bit of trash in here. Cover your eyes. All right, this bottom plate looks okay. I'm gonna put it right back on. Like such. Put the key back in. Let's rotate it so we can see. New impeller. Line the key up. Let's check this housing. Before I put these bolts back in, I'm gonna clean them up on the on my grinding wheel and then put a little bit of anti-seize on them. Sweet, so the water pump is done. We just gotta get it back on there now. All right. So that's all the way through. It's a little bit longer than the other one was. I could cut it off, but to be honest with you, I don't think it matters. So I'm gonna leave it like that. If I'm wrong, let me know why. Okay, yeah, this hose is clear. So hopefully the new impeller was enough to fix the water flow problem. And hook this back up, change the fluids. I admit that came out with a little more force than I was expecting. It's running good. So the water flow is not as strong as it should be, just because this thing should be sitting in a bucket of water. The muffs aren't going to work good on this one. Check the restart. There's a wrap on this little Nissan. I washed it down last night with some good old-fashioned natural rainwater. Dunked it in some water in a pool like I should have from the beginning, so it should pee much better now that it's actually sitting in a bucket of water.